And okay, so my name is Anna Reimers. I'm sure Christy told y'all, but I'm a nationally certified personal trainer. Fitness has not always been on the forefront of my mind. I was made fun of as a child. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but that was a huge part of me when I got to college, changing my major. I was actually going to school to be a school teacher. I changed my major because it just really struck a chord on how I could help people. And I'm here to help y'all this morning to be the best version of yourself, not to compare yourself to someone else, but to be the best version for you and to make those small steps and little changes. That 1% change makes a huge difference. So y'all are all tuning in. I'm a note taker. Are y'all note takers? And you'll see lots of notes. I try to talk fast, even though I'm a Southern girl. I try to talk quickly because my husband's from Michigan and he's helped me do that. So y'all are going to have to write quickly because I know your time is valuable and I'm going to speak as clearly and less Southern as possible. It's a little twang going to come out every once in a while. So let's talk about the topic we're all here for. What is best for weight loss, HIIT or cardio? What do y'all think? Oh, and Christy, I see you're saying I'm a twin. Yes, I'm a twin. I'm a twin married to a twin. Y'all can, we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so what is best for weight loss? Do you think it's HIIT or is it cardio? I think you're going to be surprised with the answer. So some would argue that HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. So think about it as, if you're not aware what HIIT is, you're going to get the heart rate up really, really high. So think about heart rate spiking up to 80 to 95%. And then you're going to get the heart rate low. So think about 40 to 60%. If you're like, I'm already lost. What are these heart rate numbers you're talking about? Well, it's very simple. You take 220, the number 220, write this down on your notes. 220 right here minus your age. Already told y'all my age, which I had to divulge anyway. It's 40. I'm over the hill. 220 minus 40 is 180. That is Anna's maximal effort. That's 100%. I'm a spin instructor. So when I'm doing sprints with my spin people, I'll say, hey, y'all, we're about to do sprints. We will never work at that highest heart rate zone which is aerobic, unless it's 30 seconds or below. So just know when you're doing that HIIT training, you're going to get it up where y'all wrote the notes down, 80 to 95%. And that's going to be the max number. So here are my numbers. 220 minus 40 is 180. To get that 95%, you would take that number, which is 180, and multiply it times 95%. Have I lost you already? So you're going to take that number again, 180, which is my max number, and then multiply it times 80%. And then you're going to do it times 70% and 65%. And so you want to have these numbers on a note card. So when you do go to do your exercise, hey, I'm doing a HIIT workout. If you have a smartwatch, which is also debatable, that's okay if you don't, because we'll talk about the top test. You can also use, it's called your carotid artery, and that's where your heart is. You can get your heartbeat, 2 fingers right here, and count it off. And you can count it off for 60 seconds, and you can get your heart rate that way as well. It may take a minute, or you can do it times 6. So for example, if you're looking at a watch, not like a smartwatch, but an actual watch for 6 seconds, get that number and multiply it times 10. So there are other ways to do it besides if you're not wanting to wear a smartwatch. That's a whole nother discussion. Okay. So if y'all have questions at the end, I'm going to open it up. If you need help with your heart rate numbers and need me to speak a little slower or write anything down, or put it in the comment section, and I will try to post it somewhere in our group too. There is a video that I've done about the fat burning that's in there as well. So, okay, here we go. So let's dive on in. Talked about HIIT and what it is. Okay, so heart rate goes up, heart rate goes down. What are the pros to it? You're burning a lot of calories really fast. You're also using 2 energy systems. Aerobic, which is what? Requiring oxygen, which that's where we need to be in fat burning, and anaerobic, that's where we burn the calories. So I call it like a crossover. When you're doing HIIT, you're doing both. Okay, so that is the positive thing. We're using oxygen, and then we're also, thank you, Chris, you can see you're answering questions, not using oxygen. So 2 energy systems are work, which is great. However, the cons is it's not for beginners. So if you're brand new to exercise, or maybe you've taken a break, little respite from exercise, I personally do not, and studies personally do not recommend jumping into HIIT. Why? Because you can be prone to injury. We have had, I don't want to say the name of these type gyms that have come up. I think y'all can know they're high intensity gyms. They sling a lot of weight. I won't say what they are, but a lot of the chiropractors here in the area have said their business, which they're happy for in a weird way, has gone up because you can be prone to injury. I'm not saying not to do HIIT. I'm just saying be careful if you are new. Okay. So that is the cons on injury, excuse me, switching my little words up, injury. And then it can be kind of uncomfortable if you're going to like, I'm going to kill myself type mentality. Let's go on a sprint. And then let's walk. Let's go on a sprint. And that's not for everybody. Do I personally do HIIT? I'll tell you in a minute. You'll have to wait. Okay. So let's talk about cardio. And then we're going to compare the two kind of side to side. So cardio is when you think of like a steady state. Y'all have seen in our weekly regimen, there's a steady state cardio that we do. So steady state cardio is when you have your heart rate. Some studies will show 55 to 70%. I am certified through ACE, which is a national organization, and they recommend 65 to 80. So with your heart rate zones and the numbers that we did, for me, that would be, my numbers would be between 117 beats per minute to 144. So yesterday I went on a run and I did a heart rate run. It wasn't based on minutes, and it was still kind of considered, that steady state because I'm in that fat burning. I would jog. This is not a sprint. I would jog until my heart rate would get to 144. The first couple ones, guess how long I ran, y'all? I'm embarrassed to say, only like a minute, because I was running kind of fast. I was like, slow it down, Anna, and then recover. And I would look and see, okay, I'm at 117. It's time for Anna to start running again. And go back and forth, and it keeps your mind engaged, and it also keeps you in that fat burning zone. So that is a fun way to do it and stay in that aerobic base where you're requiring oxygen to burn that fat. And that is the way you can do it if you just don't want to go on a steady walk. If your knees don't allow you to like run or jog, that's okay. Do a power walk, or you can get on an elliptical and do this. You can do it on a bike. If you have stairs and your knees allow it, that is another way to have some variation in that steady state, but still stay in fat burning and considered cardio. So I hope I'm giving y'all some ideas to kind of change it up here as we go along. Okay. So it's all about the heart rate zone, stay in that steady state cardio. And again, you can shoot hoops, you can shovel snow. All these things are considered cardio, going on a swim, or if you've got grandkids, going to the playground and maybe just walking around. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be like crazy for it to be considered exercise. Just get the heart rate up. You do in your head, Christy, you know all about it. On my stories through Facebook, I shared of me and my son. We were just in the kitchen. We were going back and forth, and back and forth. I looked down and I was like, I'm sweating already. And every little bit of movement counts as exercise. So just know that. And then at my laundry list, if you're a busy mom, I'm going on a little tangent here, but it's going to help you. If you have a long list, I've got laundry to do, dishes to do, I have to take the kids here and there, then sometimes like it's hard to find those spots of time. So I will put my timer on for 30 minutes and I'll say, okay, what can I do today? Because I don't have the time to do it. So I'll fold some laundry for a few minutes and then I will run up and down the stairs. This sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. Then I'll come back down, fold a few more towels, and I'll go up and down. You're like, really, Anna? Yes, I really do this. And it works. I've got my mom doing it as well, where she will walk briskly up the stairs, her stairs, being careful, and come down, and she'll do her little task as well. So that's a little idea if you have a busy life to get it in when you can and set that timer. Okay. So 30 minutes. If you are new to exercise, do you have to go for 30 minutes? Kind of a trick question. Well, you can do 10 minutes here. I've seen some of you on the group saying I exercise for 10 minutes and then I'll exercise at noon for 10 minutes and another 10 minutes. Get it in when you can. I'll say that again, like get it in really when you can, because you are making your body healthier by getting your blood flowing, working your lungs, and getting that heart rate up. I will say when you can hit that threshold of 30 minutes, I've had a doctor friend mention how that serotonin, that feel good, the endorphins release at that 30-minute block. So if you can work your way up to 30 minutes, you're going to have the benefits of that feel good chemical being released, and you're going to love it. So that is your goal. Do you have to start there? Absolutely not, but that is your goal. Okay. I feel like I'm rambling now. I think y'all got the difference between HIIT and cardio. So what should we do? You're like, Anna, you've gone over both. You have not told us what to do yet. I haven't. So you're going to be surprised, drum roll, at this answer. Both are great for weight loss. I know you're like, no, I'm out. Both are great for weight loss. Both burn calories. Does that mean you have to do both? No. Both are very good. Okay. Just have to choose what is best for you, what is best for your schedule, what is best for your sleep, your hormones, your stage of life, what can your body do? What can you perform the best? I will say through ACE, they have a regimen. I have a friend who is very high up trainer. His name is Seth in Tennessee. And I went to one of his trainings and I was like, man, what have you been doing? You're shredded. You are shredded. What have you been doing for this fat loss? You were already in shape. And he said, I've been backing down on my workouts. I said, repeat that again. What have you been doing? I'm not working as hard. I'm working smarter, not harder. I'm staying in the fat burning range. I am staying between that 65 and 80% heart rate when I'm working out. I'm focusing on breathing techniques. I'm focusing on yoga, Pilates, stretching. And I was like blown away because I went to one training, the next year I went to the next, and it was incredible. So that's just a testimony to work smarter, not harder, and find out what works best for you. Now, remember, when you do the HIIT workouts, it's kind of a kill me now type thing, and you don't want to do them a lot. So as I was saying, ACE recommends that you do that how many times a week? Twice, because you don't want to be in that fight or flight and increase those cortisol levels. And they recommend 3 days of that steady state heart rate. A lot of people would debate this, but if you take your heart rate when you're lifting weights, you're going to be surprised, especially on leg day, how high that heart rate gets. So if you are having the lower recovery times, you're going to actually see the benefits of gaining that strength, and then also, feeling that heart rate go up and feeling the lungs work. So that is another thing. It's a crossover. Okay. So I hope I've answered the questions on that. And I can't see. So Christy, if you can, I'm on my phone because my computer, I think my son, I won't blame him, my 10-year-old, my middle child, I think he did something to the microphone. So I'm on my phone right now. So I'll try to look at the comments here in a little bit. I know Christy's a pro and she's taking care of me. And if I don't answer your question right now, you're free to unmute yourself here in a few minutes because I'm almost done. Okay. There are a few more very important things that you're going to know. Christy, you want to say something real quick? Okay. I thought I heard somebody unmute themselves. Okay. So again, I hope I answered the question about choosing what makes you happy and that longevity so you can sustain what you can and what ACE recommends. So let's talk about quick reminders. Move your body where you are. So there is one of our leaders, I won't call her by name, but she's in a very wonderful place to live right now. And the weather is amazing. I think y'all know who it is. And if you live in an environment like that, blessings to you, and use it to your advantage. Go on the walks, go on the hikes. If you have an exercise resistance band, use that. Use that. Do it outside. You can work your legs. You can work your arms doing that. If you live in a cold environment, my husband's family, all of them, except for us and a couple others, live in Michigan. It is very cold. Right now, this time of year, it may be 70, but it could be snowing. So you will have to more than likely work out inside. You can walk in place. If you have stairs, like we talked about, you can go up and down the stairs. If you're able to and have a shovel, shovel some snow and get a good workout in. So just use your environment to your advantage to do what you can do. And there are workout videos. I have personally posted them in the page. If you're unable to do the workout videos, we have other ones as well. And I'm going to talk about that next point. I'm talking quickly, try to get you know, all the information. So as a trainer, I personally have worked with high school athletes to try to like specialize in speed and agility. I've worked with professional athletes to try to get kind of more of like retired athletes. I had one come to my class this past week. And I've also worked with people that have MS and conditions to where they're in a chair and try to improve. So if you're listening and you're an athlete, or maybe you're somewhere in between, or you're chair bound, there is something for you. Like, don't give up, don't be discouraged. Like, you can do this. I've personally I have almost tears thinking about it. I've worked with a lady who has MS, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. We had to be careful with the reps, the amount of reps, because you don't want to burn out too much, and your doctor will tell you that too. And we had to have her seated. Eventually, she got to a point where she could walk, and so we did some movements. I don't know if y'all can see, like against the pretend this is a walk, and I had her sit, and then she started using her walker and walking, and it was gradual and gradual and gradual. So there's something for everyone. We do have chair workouts in the group that are going to be for you, and you too are going to enjoy those. So just remember, there's something for everybody at every stage. And if you need to take it up in intensity, message me too, because I'm all for it. Okay. Let's talk about stress and hormones. I'll go ahead and say it, like perimenopause over here. Hot flashes are just about starting. You're laughing, Christy. It is a real thing. It is a real thing. So you got to watch out for this midsection over here. And yeah, all the fun stuff. So I have been really digging into my circle of friends, and we have been doing that heart rate run. I like Sprint 8 where I do sprints, but I have been shaving off on that during this season because of hormones, and doing heart rate runs to stay in that aerobic base. Because remember, when we're using oxygen, we are burning fat. It still ends up being a true interval, but it's an aerobic interval, not anaerobic, but aerobic interval. And I am starting to see my waistline coming down just by making that one little change in the last couple of weeks. And we're doing this together. So you know who you are if you're listening, that you've been running with me, and it's been jogging. I don't really want to call it a run. It's been great. So if that's you and you identify, you may want to scale it down a notch, just like Seth did, and you will see results. Okay. Let's talk about sleep. Anybody have a hard time like sleeping, or you wake up like, oh my goodness, kids woke me up, or there was a nightmare, or just hormones or whatever? Is it best to just go all out, do the HIIT workout? You got to listen to your body, number one. But if I have someone come to one of my fitness classes, I generally can see it, because discernment is one of my gifts. I can see it, and it's pretty obvious. Let's just be frank. It's obvious someone hasn't really slept well. Hey, so-and-so, won't name anybody. How are you doing? And they'll say, I haven't slept well. Well, today we're going to be doing a couple of sprints. Maybe go at 80% effort today. Listen to your body. So that's the kind of thing that you need to do as yourself. As I'm not physically there with you, I'm here to support you, but I'm not there. Listen to your body. If you haven't had the good sleep, your hormones feel kind of, and your stress level is up here. Sometimes sprint is the answer, but sometimes it's not. Okay. So that's just my input on personal experience. And I want to encourage you just to listen to your body, whatever you're doing, to stay safe. I like this saying, and it's really weird. I need a t-shirt that says this: push yourself to the edge, but not over the edge. Because, we want to see, let's say you're at the Grand Canyon, we want to see the Grand Canyon, but you want to get so close that you become part of it. Okay. So you need to listen to, you laughing. I'm glad you like my weird jokes, Christy. Somebody appreciates it. You want to push yourself to the edge, but not over the edge. Okay. So that is what you want to do, but stay safe. We want you safe. These knees, and again, I'm quoting myself, these knees, you gotta have them. And that might be debated. Oh, you can have surgery or whatever and replace, but we want to keep these knees. We want to keep shoulders. Okay. As much as we can. If you have an injury, work around it. This is sits muscle group. If you have a shoulder injury, maybe focus on the legs, working out your legs and your core. If you have knees, focus on the upper body. There's something for you to do, so don't give up. At this point, I feel like we should open the floor for questions. I'll go ahead and admit, sometimes I'm like not the best being put on the spot, but I'll try my best help you all answer any questions. And if you get past this recording, or maybe you're not here live to hear the recording, this will be posted and you can comment below and I will do my best to answer those questions as well. So there will be plenty of opportunities. So Christy, have I missed anything? Did I talk too fast?
I don't think you've missed anything. In fact, I've learned a ton just listening to what you're saying. I do have a quick question, and it's actually based on some of the questions that I've seen coming from the people participating in the reset. We have several people that have mentioned that they have issues where they don't have mobility currently. They're not walking. They've got an injury that prevents that. And their mindset was similar to what I was thinking prior to you saying this all, but that because they couldn't get up and physically walk or move, they wouldn't be able to burn calories when I recommended like chair yoga or just focusing on the upper body because you can't physically move the lower. And I think I'm understanding correctly now that you're still going to increase your heart rate, even if your lower body is not physically moving, as long as you're paying attention to those target numbers that you were mentioning, the 65 to 80%. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You have gotten it correct. That is amazing. And I am very visual, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are too. So like, given that story of the lady that I trained with MS, I hope that helped some of you.
Yes.
She would be seated and we would get little dumbbells as light as like 2 pounds, 3 pounds. And she would just do up, down, up, down, up, down. And I would say, bring your belly button in. Imagine like your Pinocchio right here, elongate your spine. And we're just going to sit here. And we did, 6 to 8 reps, because you have to be careful. You don't want to burn out with, MS and fatigue yourself. And she'd rest, and we'd rest and we would talk. And then she would go to like, I call them chicken wings, upright row, down, upright row, engaging the core. Yep. And then we got to the point after a few weeks that it takes a while to build a base, anywhere from like 8 to 12 weeks to build that base. And then we would try her best, with her legs, try to lift up, knee up, put the foot down, up, down. And one was about, one's better than the other. And then try to hold and stand up and down and it was just after a while, just breathing heavy because it's a lot of effort. And you can get one of those little bikes that are for your feet and do it for your hands, little pedal bikes. You can really get your cardio in if you're seated by using one of those. And even just like punching, like, blah, 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 like you're a boxer seated. So those are some ideas to get it. I probably need to do a chair workout is what I'm.
Yes, that would be a great idea. That would be a great idea to encourage people that as long as they get that heart rate pumping, they're burning calories. They don't have to be physically walking or running.
Correct. Anytime your hands, this is whether you're standing or not, hands go above the heart rate goes up 10 or 15 more when your hands go here. So if you're seated, woo, hey, do the YMCA, put the song on. So weird. It's okay, right?
I love it. No, I love it. That's the best.
Your heart rate go up. And I did want to make a disclaimer, and I failed to mention it earlier, so I hope you're still listening here. The 220 minus your age, that number, and you'll see it in the video that I have, that private link for our group, talk about fat burning. There is one, so y'all check it out. That number can be off by 10 or 15 beats. So for me personally, sometimes I can get my heart rate higher than that. And I feel like that I'm still in that aerobic base. You know how I know? Because I can talk in a sentence to whether I'm on a spin bike or with a friend running, and you're not going to be able to do that if you're in anaerobic. So you can, see your heart rate and know that you're there. So if you don't have this and you're not wanting to deal with this, the video talks about the talk test. So y'all need to go check it out on how to know if you're an aerobic base or if you're anaerobic. And it's based on right here, being able to talk. So y'all check that. So do we have any questions in the chat that I missed? I see one coming up. I would love to see a chair workout. Ooh, I can work on that.
Perfect. Anybody with questions, just unmute yourself or you can type it into the chat.
While you are thinking of a question, let's talk. I'll tell you one little tip, and I know you know this one, diaphragmatic breathing. So you're working out and you feel like, oh, I'm in a panic. Oh, I can't get my heart rate to go down, which is a real thing. if you do diaphragmatic breathing, or this works when you're in a car and like there's traffic and your heart rate goes up just because it's stressful, you can do diaphragmatic breathing. So you're pulling oxygen in your nose. Okay. What happens to your diaphragm? Going to fill, we're going to fill it, and it's going to be like filling here like a balloon. So way to the base of your lungs. So just think about filling to here like a balloon filling up, and then you're going to release it, carbon dioxide out. And what happens to that balloon? It comes back in. So if you focus on the visual, you can even do it right now. Breathe in, you can close your eyes, and it feels sort of unnatural. And then you're going to, but after a while, when you do this over and over, it's going to help your blood pressure come down. It's going to help you relax. It's going to help your heart rate come down. And it is key for heart rate to bring it down.
Can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
I used to teach voice lessons, and they taught us how to properly breathe. And it's the antithesis of the typical woman sucking her gut in. And they would always tell us, when you're breathing in, you want your belly to flop out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like proper singers, you're going to see that movement in their voice as their belly kind of flops out. And then as they continue to hold that note, it's going in. So Anna shared it as a balloon. We were taught to lay on the floor, because when we're laying down, your body tends to shift into diaphragmatic breathing automatically. And we would sing laying on the floor. And so it's a beautiful way to learn how it feels naturally. If you're laying in bed, you don't have to lay on a floor, but to learn how it feels, because in stress, we tend to do the opposite. Right? We want to take these shallow breaths when we really should be taking that deep breath in through the diaphragm. Your belly's going to flop out. And so just remember, it's the opposite of the suck in. We want the belly to come out.
Very good. Thank you for adding that. That was awesome. That's a really good visual. Do we have any more questions? And again,
I don't see it in the chat.
Okay. I'm sure we'll have some later, especially when we post this. And this was right around 30 minutes, which was our goal. So yay.
You did great.
Thank you. I could talk fitness all day. Now, when it comes to technology, getting on is the hard part, but once we're on here, laugh at me. It's okay. Okay to laugh at ourselves. Just remember to be the best version of yourself. Take little steps. Little progress makes big results. You know, do what movement you can. Pick what's best for you. If you like to dance, dance. If you like to walk, walk. Try to stay in the, if you can, even during that heart rate zone we talked about. And again, just find what you love, because we want longevity. We don't want like, hey, this is 14 days. We want a lifetime of great results. So we're here for y'all. And just, reach out to us and comment with questions even after this during the recording. We appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'll be posting this recording as soon as it's ready. Y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.